everyone, and welcome to Tabletop Obscura presents the complete Waifu Handbook, Part 3. Oh dear, I did not think we would get to 3 parts. This will mark, what, 9 hours I have spent on this book just discussing it? But no, hello, welcome everyone in. I hope everyone's doing well on this summery Australian afternoon. Number of parts for free systems. I haven't talked any of the just so much content to look at, right? Look, I haven't covered any of the D&D stuff or even the Pathfinder 1 stuff, just the Pathfinder 2, and it's a lot of it's been in depth and very dense. Like we did last week, we did the class we did the archetypes and subclass options, and that was 3 hours. In particular, the dynamic duo archetype from last week was just so mwah. Big lol, the jungle jive vibes for waifu content. Well, this is video game study lounge. Because I just kind of like to have them in the background, and they don't mind if you kind of stream their music. It's from Game Chops. Okay. So, welcome everyone. My plan for this evening is to have a pretty chill night, but we're going to be going through some of the backgrounds that they have, some of the general feats, then we're going to move on to the spells and the equipment. Much like what we did last week, I will probably be taking breaks at the 1 hour marks, just to kind of keep the Twitch ads away. Breaks won't be for like 10 minutes, they'll just be for like 3 or 5 minutes. You heard it here first, man. Was dynamic duos, and that's why I never crits animal companions. Look, no, because you weren't here last week, Juliet. So, where was it? 149. Dynamic duos. The idea being, instead of having an animal companion, you have a partner who is a humanoid NPC. And they have a similar stat progression to animal companions. And I kind of love what they did with it. However, there is problems with it. This comes back yet again, but I understand that as a third-party product, they were sticking to Paizo's precedents regarding that. Why'd you zoom in and look at the content? Oh, I'm sorry. How about that? Is that good? So we had an option for where we make Awaken Misha. Potentially. I am actually getting a couple of ideas together. One of the problems I did find with the dynamic duo archetype is all the different partner types are based off of the classes that exist in Pathfinder 2. And I understand why they did that, but I felt more bespoke options were better. And I've already started working on them. Sorry, not sorry. Awaken Misha so she can voice consent for being a bear wife. Hey, there is a waifu archetype, just as a quick reminder. But I really like what they did with the dynamic duo. It's just I wanted to have more bespoke partner types, and I've started working on. And one of the partner types is, in fact, a waifu. Waifu full class. It's so much right now. It's an archetype. For 5e and Pathfinder 1, it's a class. Where was it? 139. Man. Waifu. And look, I love some of them so much. Right? But it specifies humanoid, so Misha would have to be a were-dwarf. Just an awakened animal. Humanoid just means, technically speaking, 2 legs, 2 arms. Or at least 2 hands with which to be used. But, Chapter 3, Feats, Traits, and Backgrounds. Now, as per the usual rules, we're not going to be going for the 5e stuff. 2 mechanical hands, thank you, Julia. We're not going to be going through the 5e stuff. Or the Pathfinder 1 stuff. I'm here for Pathfinder 2. That's why I'm here. Pathfinder Traits Background Feats 164. Here we go. Okay, already. Alright. So, Pathfinder 2e backgrounds. Fantastic writer. Choose 2 ability boosts. One must be to charisma or intelligence. Oh, they don't have blurbs for him? No! Okay. So the blurbs for him are in the 1e and they just haven't... Okay, I understand that now. So, Pathfinder 1e, yes, okay. So you have written several famous books in a specific genre. Choose 2 ability boosts. One must be to charisma or intelligence, and one is a free ability boost. You're trained in the performance skill and the fiction lore skill. Fiction lore. Are we gonna have a smut writer dedication? Oh, sorry, smut writer skill feat? Alan Wake. I mean, you're not wrong, Grogan. Also, hello, welcome in. You gain the virtuistic performer skill feat, and your speciality is oratory. You'll be lurking while doing dinner rings. That's okay. Never mind. Gold Digger. You begin play with a rich and powerful spouse who grants you an allowance. Choose 2 ability boosts. One must be to charisma or wisdom, and one is a free ability boost. Oh my god, wait, Illustrator needs the smarter skill feat. We'll see. If it's here, I will import it into to Foundry for you. You're trained in the deception skill and a lore skill related to the settlement you frequent to gain suitors. You gain the charming liar skill feat. Oh, I love that. Just married. You begin play married to a spouse that loves you. Choose 2 ability boosts. One must be to Constitution or Charisma, and one is a free ability boost. You're trained in your choice of either the Society or Crafting skill. You gain a lore skill, Labor lore if you choose Society, Cooking lore if you choose Crafting. You gain a skill feat, Eye for Numbers if you chose Society, or Season if you chose Crafting. From a mechanical standpoint, that's actually really interesting. Spouse that loves you, definitely a fantasy RPG then. Hey. There is such a thing as a happy marriage. They exist. They absolutely exist. But mechanically speaking, this is interesting. Because it gives you a skill choice, and based on your skill choice, it chooses the lore skill and the skill feat. I like that. That's a lot of compression into a singular idea. See, I keep running into stuff like this. When you've been in the weeds with Pathfinder 2 for so long, it's really difficult sometimes to kind of think outside of the box. And that's why I love stuff like this. Because there's been so many instances where they've just done things that are like, it's still balanced to the system, but it's just not something I've ever considered before. Like, thanks to this book, I cracked the doctrine puzzle for clerics to create new cleric subclasses. Oh god, Spitty Crocker, right? Matchmaker! You're amazing at reading people. Choose 2 ability boosts. One must be to Wisdom or Charisma, and one is a free ability boost. You're trained in the Society skill and the Genealogy lore skill. You gain the Streetwise skill feat. That combination is wild to me, but I kind of like it too. Okay. Party Planner. You're amazing at finding deals for equipment and party supplies. Choose 2 ability boosts. One must be to Charisma or Intelligence, and one is a free ability boost. You're trained in the Diplomacy skill and the Celebrations lore skill. You gain the Bargain Hunter skill feat. Celebrations lore. So that would cover any major festivals that are coming close. See, that just makes me think of what kind of monsters would be covered by celebrations. I want to say Kappa. And Tanuki, actually, thinking about it. Village Prodigy! You're an exceptional member of your village. This is a rare background for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Choose 2 ability boosts. Both must be the same that are determined by your ancestry. If you have 2 or more free ability score boosts, your GM chooses for you. You're trained in your hometown's lore skill. You get an additional first level ancestry feat. Okay, so it's just a booster. What's with the face, G-Wizzer? Waifu feats! Alright, so we're gonna be skipping past the 5e stuff. Is Kappa? Oh. See, I don't know a lot of the old lore of Twitch. So people show these emotes that are like Twitch specific, and it's like, I have no idea what you're doing, what it is. I don't know. Alright. Pathfinder 2e miscellaneous feats. Let's do this. Yeah, I don't understand what that emote means either. No idea whatsoever. First level general feat. You gain a passive steady income. This income is either granted from your work, your family, or possibly a mysterious benefactor. You gain a daily allowance equal to a failed check to earn income appropriate to your level. Oh, that's a really great way to do it. This can be paid every day or as a lump sum at the beginning of each week. There may be circumstances in which you may not be able to receive this package, such as you are out of entering or your location is unknown. In these circumstances, your income is kept by a trustworthy NPC until you return to a safe location. Your package is then delivered to you the next day. You gain a daily allowance equal to a failed check to earn income appropriate to your level. We kind of have to check this now, right? Like, right? What am I after? Would be after skills. Earn income. Okay, so it's not a massive amount. But that's still a... Okay, I'm not against it. Like, truly, I'm not against it. Like, as an adventurer, this isn't a large amount of money. It really isn't. But this would cover drinks, food in taverns and things like that quite easily, especially on top of everything else. Oh, I love that as a general feat. Oh, see, now I want to know if there's like an upgrade to it. I've got so many questions. Anyway. Betrothed! You have sworn yourself to another. You have sworn yourself to another to marry. Choose one intelligent and sentient creature. So, not Misha. This creature is considered your spouse. While within 10 feet of your spouse, you get a +1 status bonus to your armor class. Ooh. Well, I get while you're within 10 feet of your spouse, and there's been several instances throughout this book where it's, and it doesn't stack with bard bonuses, or cleric ones for that matter. Would a show to last you qualify? Not sentient. I'm not against it. Therein mod disagrees. Oh, don't get me started on that one. Yeah, I'm not against it. Like I could see players kind of teaming up to get this done, or using the dynamic duo archetype to do similar. But a +1 status bonus to our armor class is not game breaking whatsoever. Like I said, it's the equivalent of something like Inspired Defense on a bard. I am not opposed. You want to get married in a game so bad? Heart bond ritual. Cunning consumer. Funding an adventurer's career can be difficult, so you've learned to save every penny by spotting strong marketing points. When you make a request of a vendor to lower prices, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to the triggering check. Every time it has gotten close, it falls through. Oh no! See, I was considering it for Outlaws of Alkenstar, but I felt it wasn't. It was a little bit too fast of a pace. But that's really good. +1 circumstance for lowering prices. This would be very GM dependent. If you were presenting this to your GM, I would have a discussion, because some GMs are much more applicable to just do your shopping list. If you got the gold, it's done and paid for. No need to talk to the vendors or negotiate prices. So talk to your GM about this one, but otherwise that's also pretty cool. Knowledgeable cooked! Finally! Something for seasoned! You have a knack for cooking. Choose Arcana, Nature, or Society. You may use the corresponding skill to cook a basic or special meal. I love that. Didn't even realize you could make a request to low prices. It's not specifically spoken out about, but it's a very common thing for a player to be like, I'm talking to a shopkeeper, I want to get a discount. So they talk and they haggle and all do that all fun stuff. As for this regarding cooking a basic or special meal, we will probably be covering the cooking subsystem a little bit later. Tie the knot. This is the upgrade on Betrothed. You have not only been bound in the eyes of the gods, but have devoted a portion of your life to preparing for your bond. The range for gaining the bonus to armor class increases by an additional 10 feet from your spouse. If you also have the bond of marriage from the bonding rite spell, this increases the range to gain a +2 to armor class by an additional 5. Aww. If you also have the bond of marriage from the bonding rite spell, I'm guessing the bonding rite spell increases it to +2. Body borrower. You have to be a Nikomata, Yore, or a Zenko ancestry, which were some of the ancestries that we had earlier. Once per day, you can possess the bodies of those willing or those you have bested in a contest of wills. Once per day, you can affect a target with the possession spell with a save DC equal to your class DC. If you are attempting to possess an unwilling target, the target gains a +5 circumstance bonus to saving throw. You do not leave a body behind while you're possessing a target in this way. Interesting. I'd have to look at the possession spell to see what it actually does, but I think it does give them the control trait while you're in there. Oh, well that was quick. You see, I need to play a game with better buffs for getting married to convince people to marry me. So you need a reason? So, content, yes? This is a Onryo Yore with a broken bonded blade and battle bikini. That's right, a battle bikini. Equipment! Alright. Let's do it. We might actually get through this a little bit faster than I was expecting. That's fine, though. Here we go. Alright. We're gonna have a lot of discussions about this one. Rune trait. Battle dress. A rune with this trait grants the armor it is etched onto the battle dress trait. While wearing armor with this trait, you add your charisma score instead of your dexterity score to your armor class. You may only apply a maximum amount equal to the armor's dex cap. So, I'm not going to bring up the document because it's so old. Also, oh god. But one of the books of blue magic was known as the Chainmail Bikini. It was for 3.5, like D&D 3.5, and did a similar thing. I believe there was also a Pathfinder 1 update. But it basically allowed you to add your charisma bonus instead of your dexterity bonus to your armor class. When it comes to Pathfinder 2, though, I'm on the fence about it, yeah? Because one of the big problems that we had with Pathfinder 1, and I mentioned this last week, perhaps the first time we streamed it, was that one of the big problems that came to Pathfinder 1 by the end of the edition was there was way too much attribute compression. Like, there were combos and feats you could do with classes and things like that. So you could use intelligence or charisma for everything from skills to magic to your armor class and attack rolls. You could do some very broken combos. And as much as certain players really enjoy that style of play, for a lot of GMs it became very out of pocket very quickly. That said, Pathfinder 2 kind of has a lot of I think it's fine. Dex is important for a bunch of other stuff, and charisma really isn't that important in Pathfinder 2. It's important for token skills, but I was going to get to that. Charisma, for the most part, unless you're playing something specific like a bard, and let's be honest, you're probably going to be picking this up if you're playing a bard. It's fine. Like, armor class in Pathfinder 2nd Edition is self-regulating, or it's self-balancing. So, no matter if you're wearing heavy armor or no armor whatsoever, you can keep to about the same armor class within about 1 or 2 points. I think the most you can do is go about 3 or 4 out. But you still need dex for reflex saves. And that's the other thing. It doesn't mean you can necessarily dump it, but it does mean if you're a priority charisma caster, for instance, then you can have decent armor. Or you can just have cool armor. Because one of the things we need to remember in Pathfinder 2nd Edition is you don't gain penalties, like, you don't have arcane spell failure chances with armor. Like, it just doesn't happen anymore. Like, one of the big balancing factors with wizards wearing heavy armor in Pathfinder 1st Edition was spell failure chance. That doesn't exist in 2e. It's just based on your proficiencies. And honestly, becoming proficient in armor in 2nd Edition is not that difficult. So, yeah, I would like to see it in play, I think would be the best way to put it. Otherwise, armor. Burial kimono. It is not uncommon for those who value their fallen loved ones to seek ways to prevent eager but misguided paladins from smiting their loved ones back beyond the veil. While Yurei has invested this magical Komodo, they do not have negative healing. Oh, that's actually okay. Well, that's really clever, though. So it voluntary tribute. Look, I have already said that I am planning on running a waifu game in the future. Like even if it's just a 1 level or 3 level adventure, I'm planning on running a waifu game in the future. I haven't picked out players or anything like that yet, but it is something I want to do in the future. I have to write the adventure though, and that's just going to be a whole different thing. But no, mechanically speaking, that's actually really clever. I don't think I would do it on hammers and things like that. But for instance, if you have that one skeleton in your party, having something that they can wear to just negate the negative healing, or void healing as I believe it's called now, is just really great. I'm not sure how they would gain healing. I married my bone wife. Oof. Artifacts. I know there is more than that. Yeah, consumables and stuff like that. Love Eternal, literally. Honestly, I believe one of the ancestries is based around that idea. The Gears of Time. The Gears of Time are part of a time machine called the Sands of Time, created by the Saladin. It forms to your body, bringing you to your physical peak. Fully optimal. Your body becomes the peak of what it was or will be in your life. You gain the following benefits. When you make a long-term rest, you gain temporary hit points equal to twice your level. Choose one physical and mental ability score. Treat each of these as +5, 20 for the duration of your investment. This should also have Apex if it's altering your ability scores. You cannot become fatigued. Activate 10 minutes exploration. Interact, that should be in brackets. Effect, you rest and gain temporary hit points equal to your level. A single action. The gears form the shape of a +3 major striking weapon of your choice as long as they remain on your person. This weapon deals an additional damage die of force damage. Destruction. Hair manga there too on Dead Ruffles. Tangentially related. Well, I mean, it makes sense. As a time machine, though unique, the Sands of Time paradoxically exists in multiple places and times at once. Scattered throughout time and space are pieces and fragments of the device. The Sands of Time can only be destroyed if you replace each component of the time machine with a different component from a Sands of Time machine that travel from a different time period. This would require 5 different components from 5 different Sands of Time. So to destroy this thing, you'd have to go down 5 different timelines. This is not an adventure I would ever run. Never. Sorry. But that is also a very cool way to break it. Master Seal. This ancient seal of powerful potential tapping magic was created by the Shinryujin of an ancient and bygone age. These ancient seals unlock power hidden deep within the user. Activating this artifact grants you one of the following benefits. Matt hates time travel. I do. I legitimately do hate running time travel games. I have done it once and I regretted it. Actually, no, I've done it twice now and I've regretted both times. Mythic Path. You gain a mythic rank in a single mythic path of your choosing. This was before mythic stuff was even announced, yeah? For Pathfinder 2e. So they kind of called ahead. No, it wasn't a time travel game. There was one instance where there was some time dilation going on. Boon of Earth. Your hit points increase by 2 times your level. Once per day, you can quicken yourself for 1 minute as a free action. You can use your action only to strike, stride, or as part of casting a 2-action spell. Oh, that's dangerous. But artifact, I'm fine with it. Boon of Heaven. If you are not a cleric, you gain the following feats as bonus feats. If you already have any of these feats, you may select another cleric archetype feat of your choice. Cleric Dedication, Basic Cleric Spellcasting, Basic Dogma. If you are a cleric, you gain 2 additional cleric class feats as bonus feats. These feats must be level 10 or lower. Yeah, alright. Boon of the Seas. Your speed increases by 10 feet. You choose one of the following benefits. Ambush Tactics. You deal an additional 1d6 precision damage if you strike a creature that's in the flat-footed condition. That would be off guard now. With an Agile Finesse melee weapon. An Agile Finesse unarmed attack, a ranged weapon attack, or a ranged unarmed strike. Oh, that one! Yeah, it was like 2 sessions and it died. It happens. Look, some games just happen. Mobility Expert, you gain climb and swim speed. Yeah, that's fine. Boon of the Fell, same as the Cleric one, but for witches instead. Destruction, 20th level Shin Ryojin wills its destruction. It's fine. Consumables. Alright. A fair meetup. Consumable Fulu Magical Talisman. Affixed to a 5,000 square foot building or 4 tags affixed within 300 feet of each other. Activate. 2 actions. Requirement, you have a witch patron. You designate the building or area as a shrine to your patron. While the talisman is affixed, the area becomes inhospitable to creatures with a monster or ancestry trait determined by your patron. Creatures with the chosen trait have weakness equal to half your level to spirit damage while within the area, and will know before entering that this area is anathema to them. You may activate the talisman to cast Read Omens or gain a +1 item bonus to the primary check of a commune ritual. Oh, I like that! See, I love consumables that they have a permanent effect or they have a continuous effect, but you can activate them to make them consumable. And this kind of thing is great. A fair meetup is referring to the Warlock patron subclass that they have called the Affair, which is essentially like a sugar daddy or something to that effect. Arrow of Banishing. It is also a talisman affixed to an arrow. Your strike damages a target. You are a master with the weapon firing the affixed arrow. Your talisman transforms the arrow into a sacred one. The target is affected by banishment. The save DC is 30. Ooh. See, I like that as well. See, when I was a player in Seasons of Ghost, I would have loved that kind of thing. Could have used it as well. Barrier Breaker. Affixed to an arrow as well. Envision, your strike damages a target. You are a master with the weapon firing the affixed arrow. Your talisman transforms the arrow into a sacred one. The arrow attempts to counteract a magical construct with the force trait with the effects of a 7th ranked spell magic spell. Counteract modifier plus 27. So that would be for wall spells. Flaming walls, etc. Wall of Flames. Oh, with the force trait. So yeah, just Wall of Forces, stuff like that. Still, I love trick arrow shit, so I'm fully on board with this. Force Cage, also. Though, You could just have this potentially as magical ammunition instead of a talisman. And do the same thing, I guess. Though, I will say, probably works just as well. Well, what I was going to say is with both of these, because they're talismans that you affix to an arrow, you could affix them to magical ammunition, or alchemical ammunition for that matter. So you'd be doubling up on the effect. You'd want to hit. Like, you'd be saving up your sure strike for it. But you could double up on the effects using the talisman. Though, can you attach talismans to consumables? Item level, weapon, shield, gear. No, we would need... kind of have to check this now. No, need that one. Treasure trove, momentary magic, talismans. An item with the talisman trait is a magical charm, gem, stone, or other small object affixed to armor, a shield, or a weapon. Yeah, so technically you probably can't put it onto a... You can't put it onto other items. But I've seen it! Metal weapon, affixed to armor, affixed to a weapon. I swear I've seen it affixed to something else. Armor, armor. Weapon, weapon, armor, armor, armor. I could have sworn I've seen it done for something else. I could be wrong, though. Yeah, by the looks of it, it's only weapons, shield, and armor now. Explorer's clothing counts, but... So, technically speaking, not a valid target, but... I don't know. We can break the rules as a treat. Catnap. Alchemical consumable drug ingested inhaled Nikomata poison. This herb is largely contraband within civilized Nikomata dense regions. Known to sharpen agility but dull the mind, this drug can be used via rubbing the herb on the skin or inhaling vapors of the drugged waters after boiling the herb. DC 15 Fortitude, 15 minutes. You gain a +1 iron bonus to reflex saves. Any effects imposing the enfeebled or fatigue conditions are suppressed. Hello, Shug! Yeah, it's essentially catnip. See, Shug, I forgot that you changed your name on Twitch. So when you came up as Eldritch Library in the stream the other day, and I was like, oh, hi, I actually mistook you for someone else. I'm so sorry. Stage 2, you become clumsy. Any effects imposing the enfeebled or fatigue conditions are suppressed for 5 minutes. Stage 3, you become clumsy and can't use actions with the concentrate trait. Well, yeah, dealing with some rebranding for reasons. Oh, you're fine. I get it. Interesting. Item 1. Yeah, okay. We're not going to see it on stream, but let's have a look. Ah, so Fulu's kind of break the rule. Ah, well, that would be the thing, wouldn't it? See, now I have to check. So that's how they've done it. Because it's a Fulu, they can attach it to things other than... Oh, that's... fixed armor. That's a clever workaround. I like that. That's good on them. Good for them. Divine Protection. Usage affixed to a 5,000 square foot building or 4 tags affixed within 300 feet of each other. You designate the building or area as a shrine to your patron while the talisman is affixed. The area becomes inhospitable to creatures with a monster or ancestor trait determined by your patron. Creatures with the chosen trait will know before entering that this area is anathema to them. You may activate the talisman to deal spirit damage equal to your level to all creatures that have the chosen trait. So the spirit damage is interesting because from memory, if you also have Sanctified and you activate it, the spirit damage automatically becomes that. Additionally, AP Talisman Strength Thousands is attached to the headgear. Well, there you go. Though Strength of Thousands is before remaster, so it might be a remastered change for talismans. So Divine Protection is a the downgrade for a fair meetup, which is fine. Shrine Warning, yeah. And it would absolutely just... there would be nothing stopping you from just being like, hey, my patron doesn't like fiends. And everyone's like, yeah, okay. Fair. Old monitors. So any of the psychopomps would know they're not supposed to be there. Stored Smite. Talisman affixed to a weapon, 2 action and vision. Your strike damages a target. You're an expert with the affixed weapon. Beef or Pharasma. I think there's a lot of people with Beef or Pharasma. Until the start of your next turn, your strikes with the affixed weapon deal an extra 4 spirit damage to the damaged foe, increasing to 6 if you have master proficiency with the weapon. Yeah, once again, if you have the Sanctified going on, I'm pretty sure that works. Equipment, the Ghostfire Lantern. Now, from memory, this already exists as a item from Abomination Vaults, but this will be a variant on it. Pharasma should be a villain in AP. Missing out. Wait, if you knew you were going to enter a building with friends in it, i.e. Rusthenge, could you preemptively shrine it? You could. I believe the GM would have some... the GM would be inclined to be like, yeah, this dungeon complex, it can't be a shrine to your patron, I'm sorry. It is already being assigned to someone else. Especially in the case of Rusthenge. Also takes 10 minutes. Yeah, but if you're going into... like, from Grogan's example, if you're going into the Rusthenge itself, the Sky Metal Workshop, you could theoretically put the Fulu on it and declare it a shrine. But the complex itself does kind of go outside the building itself, and also, I would just say it's already dedicated to, well, the god villain for the adventure, in case spoilers. This cast iron-footed lantern cannot be lit by mundane means. It can only be lit by the following. A Nikomata's breath weapon, expending a spell that deals void/negative damage, expending an animate dead spell, a Yurei with using a 10-minute interact action to create a ghostly spark, a Tenebrae Nymph's casting of light, illuminate, or prestidigitation. This lantern can be lit for 4 hours before needing to be filled with 25 gold pieces worth of special funeral incense, or by expending one of the resources listed above and relit. While the lantern is lit, it behaves as a normal lantern and it has the following effects on creatures while they remain within 30 feet of the lantern's ghostly teal light. All creatures without dark vision can treat darkness as dim light and dim light as bright light. This effect is centered on the lantern and not the creature, meaning you could put down the lantern and it would still have that effect. Creatures with dark vision gain greater dark vision. The talisman rusts away almost immediately as you place it. It seems this building has already been claimed by the same source of rust and decay. And that would exactly be the case. And that's probably what I would have done. But at the same point, that would be an indication for the players. Like, could you imagine if you go into a ancient site and the cleric in the party says, okay, we're going to be spending a little while here. I'm just going to do like a small consecration or blessing on the area. And they try to do it and it just does not work. And they kind of get a clear indication that, oh, okay, so something's already here. Like, on a GM perspective, that's a way to tell a different story. Breaches with the undead trait gain a +2 circumstance bonus to armor class and saving throws versus effects that specifically target undead, such as Searing Light. Interesting. See, the Nikomata in this, just as a general refresher for peeps. Nikomata 22. The Nikomata are cat people. However, they have a very strong necromancy vibe to them. Like, depending on which way they go, because there's the feral domestic and the necromancy ones. I like that they've kind of played it through. I really need to read more of the world details for this setting. I really do. I believe we're to that. There we go. But that's the picture for it. And that's really cool. Ring of the Virtuous Waifu. This simple golden band is not often powered by magic, but more the sheer virtue, love, and respect of the giver unto one's bride. Requirements: you have a spouse. Effect: during your daily preparations, the ring grants the first of the following benefits that the wearer doesn't already possess, starting from the top and working down. Grants the wearer the effect of the bond of marriage from the bonding rite spell. Grants the wearer the waifu dedication feat as a bonus feat. Grants the wearer a level 4 waifu archetype feat as a bonus feat. Aww. See, I can dig it. No, that... All caps? All caps. Well, the dynamic duo archetype, which I am allowing my players to take for future characters and things like that, would enable you to have your partner from dynamic duo be your spouse. This is something I need in my life. Look, what is it? I think I put it down as exclamation mark waifu. Yes. Like, I kickstarted this ages ago. But the book itself is 350 pages. I haven't even touched on most of the lore. And a lot of the Pathfinder 2 stuff is very dense. And I find it... Look, I've said this a couple of times in the streams whenever I've been discussing this book. I find it weird that the Pathfinder 2 group, community, whatever you want to talk about, it does not talk about this. Like, to put it bluntly, the Pathfinder 2 community has a very, we got a lot of furries, yo. Is because they are too conservatives? Bullshit. I know so many people playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition who are absolute fucking furries. I mean, Starlight Sentinel should fit right in, right? Exactly! I'm still working on that magical girl archetype as well, Chuck, so don't worry about that bit. But considering our furry population within Pathfinder 2, and also just generally the people who love kind of like the anime type of stuff, which this is what that vibe is for. I'm surprised it hasn't been talked about more, because although the humor in it is very tongue-in-cheek, it's also a lot of quality work has gone into this, considering. But a sentient, I'm gonna butcher this, Daki Makara. These intelligent body pillows are created by passionate artists who breathe deep devotion to their work, carving entire worlds of fictional lore. The Daki Makaru, a perfect execution, is a sentient magic item with an alignment and personality decided by the item's creator, featuring an illustrated fictional character. Oh, Meredith, but alignment doesn't exist anymore. That's fine. You just have to discuss a personality and like anathema and stuff like that. Activate 1 hour command. You may have a casual conversation with the pillow to mimic the effects of read omens. However, the responses are always biased and reflective of the fictional setting the art represents. As such, you are unable to commune with deities and instead communicate with a creature of a fictionalized universe. Despite the biased narrators and fictional settings, the Daka Makararu always provides honest information. Despite inaccuracies, there is always some truth behind the fiction. See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like, there's so much humor in there, but when it comes down to it, it's like, oh, okay. That's also very wholesome. Snake Charmer's pipe. Oh, it's a staff. A Coda staff. Question, what if the image depicted a deity from a fictional universe? Ooh. I mean, it'd be the god for that universe. Yes. See, I'm not sure. Like, that'd be one of those things I would wait for it to come up in actual play. Or for someone to be like, hey, I want to buy this item and it's going to have this character on it. Because a lot of the things in this book are things that you would cover in a session 0 with your GM and fellow players. Like, you'd sit down and you'd all have a discussion and be like, are we using the waifu book? Are we not? What are we okay with? So, as always, consistent communication is a good idea. Sometimes I wonder if I should get a body pillow. They seem like they'd be real comfy. Look, separate from some of the connotations that come with body pillows, I know a lot of people who swear by them, especially for comfort. If you're pregnant, especially, best thing ever. Now, the Snake Charmer's pipe is a staff and a coda. For those who want to wear, coda items are instruments that act like magical staffs. A pipe created by the human races in order to combat the Lamia. Oh no. While playing this pipe, you gain a +2 item bonus to performance checks. Activate cast a spell. You expend a number of charges from this instrument to cast a spell from the following list. You can only target snakes anytime the target is specified to be an animal. Okay. So, tame, charm, hypnotic pattern. Oh, that's pretty easy, actually. I must now go to play Pathfinder Lovelies. The Rune Lords won't rest themselves. Well, good luck with that. I hope the Rising goes well. Alright. Oh, Juliet, you're gonna miss out on all the battle dresses. Alright. here's a question. We have been going for a little bit over an hour at this point. I have probably been poked by ads already. And since we're up to the runes, talking about the battle dresses and stuff like that, this seems like a good point to kind of take a quick little 5-minute break, run some ads, keep the pre-rolls away. At least you can no longer get the exclusive Monster Musamune Lamia body pillow, that really long one. God. Alright. We're gonna go on a break, and we're gonna come back to the battle dresses. Yeah, I'm gonna run some commercial breaks. I'm not gonna put a countdown up because we're not gonna be going for a full 10 minutes. It's just gonna be long enough for me to redo my water and everything else like that and get these commercials done. But we shall see you back here very soon. See you then. Hello, we have returned. I hope the ads are away for everyone. Let me know if you still have ads, not that you can really hear this. But welcome everyone in. This is part 3 of our discussion / read through of the complete Waifu Handbook. We are currently onto the battle dress section. Now, as a refresher, the battle dress trait, which is for runes and runes only, switches the armor class proficiency from being based off your dex to being based off your charisma. Now, we had an earlier discussion about this being not exactly a bad thing. Like, charisma is not a maximum prioritized thing. And I think the classes who would benefit most from it are not like full marshals or anything like that. And you can't stank them. So that's fine. Now, each one of these runes has the battle dress trait built into it, so that whole charisma thing. But they also have additional effects. Now, when I first read this, my thinking for it was, why don't they just do specific items that have like the battle dress trait built into it instead of runes? But a lot of these are specifically for armor. So the idea is that anything can be a battle dress, from Explorer's kit to I want to see this Hell Knight armor. I want to see a Hell Knight waifu. Abso-fucking-lutely. Let's go. Now give me full plate with the spikes and everything, but it's also a battle dress. Where are we on? 184. I will also specify that both of these outfits here on the front cover are both considered battle dresses. That's our waifu iconic, and that's our battle bride iconic. What's this? Hell Knight in a battle bikini? Still gonna fuck you up. Alright. But the battle bikini. House Tarjas has provided a line of battle dresses for top-of-the-line summertime fun and relaxation. So for your beach time episodes, this rune grants the armor a +1 item bonus to diplomacy checks to request. Additionally, you don't apply the armor's check penalty to acrobatics or athletics checks to water or similar liquids. Like slime, maybe. All I can imagine now is Doom 3 Hell Knight in this bikini. Look, you can keep that image all to yourself, Grogan. At 6 levels, +1. Level 12, it's +2. Level 19, it's +3. I guess it also has the battle magic, like the battle dress thing built into it. But you could probably tweak that. Like, I wouldn't mind it being for things other than diplomacy. The Bonding Blade. Oh! Oh, hello! I think that's a typo. That's probably supposed to be etched onto a weapon. I would assume so. Untyped you? Yeah. Yeah. But you deal 1 additional damage for each waifu archetype class feat you have. From memory, it's like a full 10 level spread as well. That's brutal. Like, once again, I'm kind of down though. Like an extra 10 damage add. Well, okay, so from memory, that's up to 20 damage for free. Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking of. For a 6th level, No, you're right. That's up to 20 damage for free. It's not for free. Like, you have to use the class feats for it. But on a 6th level rune, because on a barbarian build, for instance, because I'm pretty sure damage bonuses stack. On a flurry fighter that's busted, yeah. Hell, on a flurry ranger. So yeah, I think that might be a little bit out of band. Okay, compromise. I would put an upper limit on it, but have, for instance, the 6th level variant of it, it has a maximum of an additional like 3 or 4 damage. Additional 4 will give it a little bit of longevity. So the basic bonded blade would be up to like 4. And then you'd need to get the greater version, so pay for it again, and that would take you up to like 6 or 7, and then you have the 3rd or 4th, and that would take you through all the way. That would be how I would do it. Now, I'm just assuming this is supposed to be etched onto a weapon. I don't know for sure, because once again, abjuration probably wouldn't exist in the remaster. Heart Seeking. Rare, concentrate, magical. This is a rune that is etched onto a piercing weapon. A weapon designed to attack the most powerful and influential organ in the body. Reaction, envision, death, incapacitation. Trigger, you roll a natural 20 on a strike with the weapon, critically succeed, and deal piercing damage. The target must have a heart or an organ that functions like one. The target must succeed at a DC 37 fortitude save or have their heart destroyed. This kills any creature except ones that don't require a beating heart. For creatures with multiple hearts, this usually kills the creature only if you stop its last heart. Okay, but this line right here, for creatures with multiple hearts, this usually kills the creature only if you stop its last heart. I could absolutely imagine a high-level adventure where you're sent out to find a heart-seeking blade. Vorpal but for heart, yeah. Like you're sent out to find a heart-seeking blade in order to kill a creature that's known for having, like, multiple hearts. And when you actually face them down with the heart-seeking blade, you have to do X amount of critical strikes. I could absolutely do that. Alright. Here it is. Maid outfit. This is another battle dress rune. It can be red etched onto armor. Keep in mind, they're not specifying a type of armor. You could put this on a monk's outfit. You could put this on full plate armor. It don't matter. Many members of House Chatteris' personal military adorn themselves in these famous garbs allowing them better aid of their comrades. If you roll a critical failure on your check to aid, you get a failure instead. The greater version at level 12 for 1,800 gold pieces. Additionally, if you roll a success on your check to aid, you get a critical success instead. 19. Additionally, you treat your effective proficiency as one step higher for the sake of aid's bonus to your ally. If you're a legendary in the attempted check, the circumstance bonus is +5. See, I can absolutely get behind that. And it's one of the themes I've seen very consistent throughout this entire book. So much of it is based on like helping your comrades, aiding them, giving them support. And as someone who really does appreciate like support style gameplay, mwah, love it. I know it doesn't specify it either. These would be property runes as well. Hence why most of them are level 6, because you have to be level 5 to get your first +1 armor rune. Merrymaker, also a battle dress rune. Channeling the ancient art of buffoonery. This rune grants you special resistance when activated. Reaction, frequency once per minute. Effect, your merrymaking reduces oncoming damage. You gain resistance to one damage type of the triggering attack equal to half your level. We actually do need the trigger in there, but after you activate the armor and after damage resolves, you gain temporary hit points equal to half your level that lasts for 1 minute. Additionally, after you activate the armor and after damage resolves for 1 minute, all allies within 30 feet gain bonus damage equal to 1/3 of your level. See, I'm not a big fan of doing 1/3 type stuff, just because it makes the table math that much more difficult. I know a lot of people can't handle it, but when you're in that moment, having to do the 1/3 division is actually it can be very troubling. But otherwise, that's not too bad. I'm guessing the trigger is you take damage. Nurse outfit. Also a battle dress rune. A field battle nurse is prepared for any situation. This grants you the ability to heal an ally via activation. Oh, I should also point out, let's go back to it. A rune this trait grants the armor it is etched onto the battle dress trait. This doesn't change how the outfit actually looks, yeah? Like, we can make assumptions as much as we like. And, you know, if it is your preference, you can have the armor kind of make sense for that. But it doesn't actually change what it looks like. I just felt like I should point that out, especially when it comes to the nurse outfit. But this grants you the ability to heal an ally via activation. Once per day, single action with a kind touch, you heal an adjacent target 2d8 plus 5. You can act. Ooh. Okay, now I need to check something. So, healing gloves. Healer's gloves. There we go. Level 4, 2d6 plus 7, so 2d8 plus 5. Level 6 item. Yeah, okay. Once per day, that's fine. Yeah, I'm down with that. The Greater Nurse outfit, you can activate the armor twice per day and the healing is 3d8 plus 10. You can activate the armor 3 times per day and the healing is 6d8 plus 20. I'm going to go out and assume that they've based that vaguely on the heal spell. Just vaguely. Consider they've used d8s for it. But once again, I'm okay with that. And considering how prevalent there are from means of healing in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, I don't care about one more method. I truly don't. Alright. Weapons. Lesser shoujo blades. Item level 5. Short sword. Oh, they have intelligence. Oh no. Perception 11. Precise vision out to 30 feet. Imprecise hearing 30 feet. They communicate via telepathy. Common and up to 4 other languages. Performance plus 15. Intelligence plus 2. Wiz plus 2. Intelligence plus 4. Will plus 13. Created in the image of the legendary shoujo blades, these +1 striking low-grade silvered short swords are created to provide companionship for wandering warriors in between adventuring parties, as many find it difficult to travel an adventurer's world without someone to speak to. Oh. These sentient weapons are imbued with souls that are easily ignited in different ways, such as angering or flustering the soul of the weapon. So for when you're out on the road and you're like all by yourself and okay. Activate. Once per hour, the shoujo blade becomes ignited and deals an additional 1d6 damage or strikes depending on the personality type of the blade. So the shoujo spells, which we will get to. Oh god, okay. Below are listed the various shoujo blade personalities, what types of damage they deal when ignited, their recommended alignment, GM gets final say, and their final shoujo spell. This is our image of it, by the way, which is absolutely amazing. I love that. But Bakadare, mental, any chaotic, Bakadare's ignorance. We're gonna have to go for all these spells, aren't we? I'll be the first to say I'm not super involved in like a lot of the culture around this, so I don't understand a lot of these, but yeah, redhead Saladin fighter and a Sodadare. Lesser shoujo blade. God. The pan of frying has fatal D8. Technically halfling. This +1 flaming fry pan is made of cold iron, low grade, and is a versatile upgrade to the traveling and cooking adventurer via the Shinryujin brand marked on its service. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to checks to cook basic meals and special meals if you are a master. Give that pan to the hobbit, right? If you are a master in the chosen skill, this bonus increases to +2. I'm not sure where they're getting the mythic from. Oh, okay, by expending 1 use of mythic power, so this would be a D&D optional rule, I'm guessing. 1 hero point or 1 focus point, you can prepare an additional meal or 1 meal in half the regular time. Additionally, when you do so, regardless of your skill check, you treat the meal as 1 success tier higher. Okay, we're just gonna pause it there for a second, because this is something I don't think is talked about enough. And that is this idea of using hero points to do more than what they currently do in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Because currently you can only use them to reroll a d20 check or to save your character's life should they die. I've always been interested and wanted to experiment with the idea of expanding what hero points can be used for. I don't think you could use them for regular play. But, hear me out. General feats that expand your usage of hero points. One of the big complaints I get, sometimes from our players, sometimes from others, is every now and again, you'll get a critical hit, like an absolute natural 20, and it's against that big creature you really want to take down, and you're using like You know what? Let's call out Tyler for a second. And you're using a D12 great axe. Like, you have the big fuck off axe. You get that 20. And you're like, fuck yeah, time to do lots of damage. And you roll fucking ones. Like, 3d12 plus 10 damage. And you roll 3 ones. It fucking happens. So, one of the things I have considered in the past is a general feat that allows you to use hero points to reroll damage. It's something I do want to experiment with. I think for regular play, it might be a little out of pocket. Just a wee bit out of band. But for instance, for the stream games that I run, I'd be down to experiment with it. Like general feat, you can use hero points to reroll damage. But otherwise, hero points is a meta currency to do other things. I'm completely down with that. But that's me as a GM. The greater version of the pan of frying. The frying pan is a +2 greater flaming frying pan made of cold iron standard grade. And the circumstance bonus increases to +3 if you are legendary in the chosen skill. There's not going to be another grade for it, is there? No, it's 16. That's it for the equipment. I was kind of expecting there to be more, if I'm being honest. That's fine, though. Because I think... Yep, this is the waifu spells. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. Okay. So, looks like we're only going to be getting like 4 pages of Pathfinder 2e spells. That's fine. But then we got 9 pages worth of shoujo spells. Before we get into that, though, note from Stuart being the writer of the book, shoujo spells. Shoujo spells are a pretty radical departure from what most third-party source books do. We have planned 10 personality types that your characters can earn. Currently, we only have second-level spells ready to experiment with. As we receive more feedback for these spells, we will expand on them. In the future, we will add higher-level spells as well as feats and possible class options. Okay. Interesting. Alright, well, let's go to the Pathfinder 2 ones. Bonding Rite. So this is one that's been mentioned a couple of times before. It is divine or primal, 1 hour casting, 2 willing creatures, and has an unlimited duration. See below. Oh no. You create a magical bond between 2 willing creatures who must share genuine affection for one another. As part of the spell, both members of the bond receive a ring, amulet, or similar token to symbolize their shared connection. The target creatures choose between brotherhood, fealty, marriage, mentorship, or rivalry, and bestow the following bond to the targets. These bond... I'm sorry, rivalry? Oh, I fucking love that. Oh, that's amazing. What is more anime than, you know, 2 heroes of the story looking down at, like, looking over at each other with that intense glare and being like, doing the whole speech of smell you later. Gary Nash. Pokemon. I was going to say the more recent example, My Hero Academia. Deku and Bakugan? Oh god, that's probably wrong, isn't it? But Deku and Explodey Fist Guy. God, I feel like such a old man saying it like that. But yeah, they would have a rivalry. Bakugan is a different anime. Yeah, no, it is. I don't know. See, I knew my mistake as soon as I said it. But having like a bonding right that's just like, yeah, no. I love that. These bonds and their effects last until either creature is slain, one or both creatures decide to end the bond, lose their token, or either creature takes a knowingly hostile action against the other. Bond of Brotherhood. This bond must be sworn between two mutual targets. There is no limit to how many creatures one can share this bond with. Both creatures within the bond are referred to as brothers. Brother! The loops, brother! For mechanical purposes and gain the brother's mark action. Reaction, concentrate. The user's brother successfully damaged a creature within 10 feet. Your brotherhood bond ignites in battle. Until the start... No, wrong way that way. Until the start of your brother's next turn, your next strike or spell attack deals extra damage of that attack's type equal to half their level. If the attack deals multiple kinds of damage, they choose the type of damage from the types available. It is a reaction, though. But the idea that there's no limit to how many creatures one can share this bond with. Like, for instance, an adventuring party that all joins in a bond of brotherhood. Like, that's cool as hell to me. I love that thematically. A bond of fealty. This oath is sworn by one target to another, granting each a unique benefit. The recipient is referred to as a king, while the initiator is the knight. A knight gains a +1 circumstance bonus to attack rolls against creatures within 30 feet of their king. A king gains a +1 circumstance bonus to AC and a +1 circumstance bonus to all persuasion and intimidation checks within 10 feet of the knight. The Three Musketeers. Exactly, Aggro. Also, hello. Okay, other one. As part of the spell, target lose a token or critique. I'm pretty good, Aggro. Yourself? Unlimited touch. I mean, you could do multiple by the looks of things. Like, first we were brothers, and now we are lovers. I'm pretty good. But yeah, the bond of fealty has that. Bond of marriage. This oath is sworn between two mutual targets. A creature can only have one of these bonds active at a time. Many people swear this bond without enchantment, as the limits of the arcane are not the limits of love. Aww. Creatures who share this bond are referred to as each other's spouse for mechanical purposes. While within 15 feet of their spouse, the target gains a +1 circumstance bonus to armor class. While within 5 feet, this is increased to +2. Both targets also gain the I got you reaction. Requirements. The user and the spouse are not prone. You leap to defend your spouse from danger. The user and the spouse both become prone. The user rolls a d20 and can substitute their roll in place of their spouse's even if it's lower. Aww. And just remember, because it is a fortune effect, you cannot also use a hero point with it. See, I think that's adorable. Bond of mentorship. This oath is sworn by one target to another, granting each a different boon. In this bond, the recipient is known as the pupil, while the initiator is the mentor. A mentor can bond to a number of pupils equal to their level. However, a pupil can only bond to a number of mentors equal to a quarter of their level, which makes sense. The mentor gains temporary hit points equal to the pupil's level every time they witness the pupil succeed in a task the mentor is trained in, but the pupil is not. Aww. Whenever a pupil is within 30 feet of their mentor, the pupil adds a circumstance bonus equal to half their level to any skill they are untrained in. See, once again, that's adorable as fuck. I love it. If the pupil has untrained improvisation and is at least level 7, the bonus gain for untrained skills decreases to +1. I'm sure about that. The Bond of Rivalry. This oath is sworn between two mutual targets who each gain the same benefits. Those who swear this bond are identified as rivals. Whenever a creature sees their rivals succeed in a skill check they are not trained in, their determination to better their rival grants them a circumstance bonus equal to their level the next time they attempt that check. If the creature is trained in the rival's proficiency and that skill is at a higher rank, then the proficiency decreases by +1 for each tier of proficiency between the two. Yeah, I can see that. But I also imagine... See, I also imagine you already have like similar skills and things like that, but I guess that's not necessarily true. For instance, if a fighter and a wizard are bound in a bond of rivalry, and the fighter does an athletics check, then the wizard can do 1 too, even if they're not trained. That I can dig. I'm a little bit on the fence because this is considered just a spell, but I think it might be better as a ritual, but I understand why they didn't go the ritual route. Desperate Tears. This is from the Soulmated subclass for a sorcerer. Focus 5. One dead creature that died within the past 5 minutes. A desperate plea to change the fate's design. You embrace a dead creature and weep heartfelt healing tears. You can't use Desperate Tears if the creature was killed by a disintegrate or a death effect. If the force in charge of death has decided that the creature's time has come at the GM's discretion, or if the creature doesn't wish to return to life, this spell automatically fails. The creature returns to life in a glorious flash of light and 3d6 hit points are restored to it. The target is also permanently changed in some way by their time in the afterlife, such as getting a slight personality shift, a streak of white in their hair, or a strange new birthmark. When heightened, an additional 1d6 hit points are restored to the creature upon revival. I also kind of like that. Like, the drawback there is it's very narrative focused, but that's not a real problem. Like, I don't consider it a problem. Some GMs, though, I know would not be down for this. But this is perfect for if an animal companion dies or anything like that. Aww. See? Doting Support. This is a bard composition cantrip. One friend or ally within 30 feet, one action, until the start of your next turn. You give a quick shout of moral support. This counts as having taken sufficient preparatory actions to aid, except you don't need to specify what task you intend to aid. When you later use the aid reaction, you can roll performance instead of the normal check you would need. Amazing. Beautiful. Dream Meal. Spell 1. Mental Sleep. Cast somatic verbal material, a basic or a specific meal prepared within the last 8 hours. Has a range of self. The next time you sleep, you dream and gain the benefits of special meals. You must sleep for at least 1 hour to gain the benefits of the spell, and being awakened early will cancel the effects. Depending on the material component used, the effects of the spell will change. Basic meal, you gain the favored meal bonus of your favorite meal. If you do not have a meal, the spell has no effect. Special meal, you gain the benefit of the special meal as if it was prepared one step better. I mean, that's a bit of a preparation, but for a first level spell, that's kind of fine. Special, if you fall asleep with the spell prepared, you may automatically spend it while you sleep to gain the spell's benefit, which is fair enough. And the third level heightened 20-foot emanation affecting all willing targets. This is one of those spells that I kind of call a high level first rank spell. So if you're like level 8 and above, a lot of the spells you'd be preparing in your first rank slots would be for damage spells and stuff like that originally. But they kind of drop off at higher levels. So you're probably better off doing evergreen spells. And this would be one of them. Blustering Flirtation. This is a wizard spell. A wizard focus spell. I believe this would be from the Love Mage subclass variant. You stoke the target's emotional state, causing its body to have a violent reaction. The spell deals 2d4 mental damage and 1 persistent bleed damage depending on the result of its will save. As a focus spell, okay. The target takes half mental damage but no persistent bleed. Full damage. Critical failure as a failure, but the gushing blood is so explosive the target is knocked prone and stunned. Wait. I know what that is. That's the nosebleed thing. That's the nosebleed thing. Like the trope in anime when there's like a flirt or they see something and their nose just explosively starts bleeding. Oh god, they made it into a spell. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. That's a focus. It's just a focus spell, isn't it? Yeah. Alright. Love language. Cleric from the domain of passion. You can understand and speak a single language you are hearing or reading. Fragile becomes a wizard, right? While this effect is active, you gain a +1 status bonus to diplomacy checks to make an impression or request a speaker of that language. The heighten +5, and then 5th of 9 is +2/+3 for the status bonus. That's fine. As a focus spell, that's actually pretty trippy as well. I kind of like that. Infatuated Haze has incapacitation, also is mental and wizard. I believe this is the 8th level love wizard focus spell. The target is distracted and captivated by an idealized version of what it loves. Critical success and unaffected. Success. Stunned 1. Failure. Slowed 1 for 1 minute. Critical failure. Target is stunned 2 and slowed 1 for 1 minute. Okay. See, this has a similar problem to the slow spell in general, where that 1 minute sucks. However, the difference it has from slow is this has incapacitation. So I am okay with it in that regard. Nepotism. We saw this one a couple of times, particularly with the druid subclass. You heal and care for your consortium first and foremost, restoring 1d6 hit points to the target and granting yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to half the amount healed. Those results are very weird. It's very similar to what you get with Slit, though. Where is it? Player core. Where is it? Yep, there we go. I'll slub 1 for 1 round. Let's go back to Waifu. Yeah, stun doesn't equal slow, and I know stun means... Stunned from memory means no reactions. That's the big difference between stunned and slowed. I would say that's a typo. Yeah, the success is effectively slowed plus no reactions on the success. And from memory, I think stunned automatically ticks down. Which is Hideous Laughter. And Hideous Laughter is a really ridiculously powerful spell if done in the right conditions. You would not want to critically fail that, though. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think I would probably bring him more in line to be with slowed. Incapacitation helps, though. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maximum 6 creatures. Okay, so back to nepotism, though. 1 to 2 actions. 1 action, the spell has a range of touch. 2 actions, the spell has a range of 30 feet and restores an additional 1d4 plus 4 hit points to the target. So they've based that off of the heal spell, which is fine. And they've also kind of, it's a halfway point between lay on hands and the heal spell. The amount of healing increases by 1d6, and the additional healing for the 2 action version increases by 1d4 plus 4. That's good for a druid spell, though. Just a good focus healing spell. Once Upon a Dream. This is another one we've seen a couple of times. This is for sorcerers. Cost 5 minutes, range 100 miles. Target 1 friendly creature you have met in person until the next time you make your daily preparations. You have many times dreamed of your destiny, and you know there are others to share in them. The next time both you and the target are asleep at the same time, you're transported into a shared dream world. In this dream, you and the target can only communicate with your emotions. Heightens, you can communicate 25 words within the dream. Heightened 5, the range of the spell becomes planetary. That's typical. 7th, you can communicate 250 words within the dream. Heightened 9th, the range of the spell becomes universal, but not planar. How to do? You and an ally perform an ethereal dance across the battlefield. You exchange places with an ally within range. Once again, this is Sorcerer, Soulmated. Currently, 15 feet, but the height increases it by 5 feet. I have tinkered in the past with teleportation-based focus spells. This is well within band. This is fine. Pillow Fight. Conjuration, Sorcerer, Teleportation. Range is 60 feet, 20-foot burst. Sustained up to 1 minute. You ward an area with a strange curse of cozy playfulness, preventing any true harm to befall creatures. While in the area, all weapons gain the non-lethal trait and roll the minimum amount of damage. Ranged weapon attacks fired or thrown into the area are affected by it as well. The spell's range increases by 10 feet and the area increases by 5 feet. Okay, so this is a sorcerer spell, right? So I have this whole thing when it comes to sorcerers where, because of how they get their casting, I find it interesting that something that I don't think is really discussed too often is the idea that they don't exactly know how their magic works. Like, they have some very basic ideas, but not like a full one. So the idea of just spontaneously casting Pillow Fight, I don't know why it has teleportation. I'm going to say it's a typo. Because if you're going for OGL Pathfinder 2, this would be probably Abjuration. sorcerer. Actually, is that a copy pasta? Oh, I think that's just a grammar. I think that's just a copy pasta error. I don't think it's intended to be a focus spell. Yeah, I'd say so. There's been a couple of little problems with that where the traits haven't really lined up properly, and I figured they've been copy pasta from elsewhere. Speaking as someone who has done layout before, it doesn't surprise me. It takes a really fine eye to actually see that kind of stuff. So, as a 4th level spell, I also kind of like this anyway. Red Sprite of Distractioning. You conjure into existence a small mote of red light by pointing your wand. Oh no. Oh no. Into existence a small mote of red light by pointing your wand. Any creature within 5 feet of the dot must make a saving throw, and creatures with the beast, Nikomata, or Akami trait take a -1 penalty to the save. In addition, a creature must attempt a will saving throw if it is within 5 feet of the light when you cast it. When it enters the pattern, when it ends its turn within 5 feet of the light, or if it uses a seek or interact action on the light, a creature currently fascinated by the pattern doesn't attempt new saves. Failure, the target is fascinated by the pattern. Fascinated is fine. But specifically, fascinated by the pattern is interesting. Critical failure. As failure, except while it remains fascinated, it can't use reactions. Oh, see, this is a good use of the fascinated condition. Like having it being centered on a spell effect as opposed to the actual caster of it actually gives fascinated a lot more usage. And is a bit more effective in that usage. When you sustain the spell, you can move the light to another point within range. So yeah, no, literally, it's the red pen light, it's the laser light where you just radiate across the battlefield. Yeah, I'm okay with this. If someone wants red spread of distractioning, just let me know. Yeah, I'll put it into Foundry. It's fine. True Love's Kiss. Focus 3. It's stated a bloodline, so it is absolutely a bloodline. Has a range of touch, of course. One dead creature that died within the past 5 minutes. Speaking directly from the heart, you directly kiss the forehead or lips, and let the power of your love alleviate suffering. You attempt to counteract one curse, disease, or poison affecting the target. You get a +2 circumstance bonus to the check if the effect has the polymorph trait. So, literally, if your prince has been turned into a frog, you may kiss them and turn them back to normal, I guess. See, that's corny as fuck, but it's also great. Heightened 1, you can attempt to counteract an additional curse, disease, or poison affecting the target. Each counteract attempt requires an additional roll. That's fine. I'm sorry, what? Waifu Mancy? Okay. First level ritual. Cleaning supplies worth 1 gold piece. Secondary casters 1. Primary check occultism. Secondary check society. Range 10 feet. Target 30 foot square within any domicile or room. Cost 2 actions. 30 feet. Object cook, lift, or tidy only sustained. Manifesting the unique power of waifus. You create a small miracle to accomplish the following household tasks. Cook. Cool, warm, or flavor 2 pounds of non-living material. Tidy. Instantly tidy one room, no more than 30 by 30 in size. This cannot repair broken objects. Instantly clean a small pile of clothes enough to adorn one creature for a week. Mend. Instantly mend clothing to as good as new conditions. Gather. Instantly summon a fresh food item from up to 60 feet away. But only if you ask politely. Set. Instantly set or unset a table of dishes as well as cleaning them. So you're saying for the equivalent of $10, essentially. Yeah, I'd take that deal. I'd do all the washing up every now and again for $10. Waifu Mancy can't deal damage or cause adverse conditions. Any actual change to an object beyond what is noted above persists only as long as you sustain the spell. So it's essentially an upgrade on prestidigitation. Yurei Shokan Ritual 4. Cost 1 day. Cost an item that has personal meaning worth at least 40 gold pieces times the target's level, and or a close loved one of the target creature. So if you get a smooch, the feeling fades afterwards, I guess. Secondary cost is 2. Primary check religion. Target 1 dead creature of up to 10th level that has been dead for no less than 25 years. Okay, and has died of a cause other than old age. You attempt to call forth the target's spirit via this sentimental connection to the material component used. If the physical remains of the slain creature no longer exist, you instead must reach out to their soul through both a loved companion and a material component. Over the course of a day, you beckon or otherwise coerce the soul back to the material plane. Souls can be restored this way regardless of if the creature is willing, so long as the soul is not restrained or damaged. Critical success. The target returns to the material plane with the following changes. The creature gains the Yurei trait, which is the ancestry from this book. If the creature is a PC, its ancestry becomes Yurei, and its heritage changes to a Yurei heritage that best suits its cause of death, unless it has a versatile heritage. Which is perfectly in line. The new body has full HP and has the same spells prepared and points in the pool as the original did when it died. Gosh, imagine sitting in Frasma's waiting room for 24 years as she says, "Nah, dog, resist you." Wouldn't you be pissed off, though, if it took them that long? Like, how expensive is it? 40 GP. Up to 10th level as well. So maximum 400 gold pieces. As a critical, except the new body has 1 HP, no spells prepared. Yeah, that's fine. Failure. You fail to call forth the target. Critical failure. The target returns as a wraith. The ritual can be repeated after the wraith is destroyed. So you call back the wrong person. If the target of the spell is already Yurei, you may instead use the components of the spell to forcefully summon them to you. The target must succeed a will save against the higher of your class DC or spell DC, or be summoned within 30 feet of you within a point you decide. Yurei bound by this spell can be summoned regardless of which plane of existence they are on, so long as no arcane or divine force prevents them from teleporting. So, Pharasma could say no. Oh, okay. And the hind end extends, but also increases the gold pieces. Yeah, that's fine. All right. A shoujo spell book. Oh, wait. First up. Okay. Kashari, head librarian of the Velvet Spire Studies, Oh, Kashari, head librarian of the Velvet Spire, studies the love mage arts and shoujo spells. Okay. In the Zero setting, there exists a special brand of magic called the shoujo spells. These are spells that were developed for a waifu's love for their spouse, and each spell reflects the personality of the waifu that created it. Shoujo spells are a part of the waifu's devotion and spirit rather than their skill and magic. The following 10 spells are all listed and tagged as shoujo spells. Shoujo spells cannot be selected through normal means and must be earned through special classes, feats, or even items starting at 3rd level. Earning a shoujo spell. There are some classes, subclasses, items, and feats that cite shoujo spells in their description. These spells are usually granted to PCs and other characters as rewards from the GM. Okay. Once one of these spells is chosen, you can now learn another spell outside your personality type. The spells earned this way are treated as any other spells or spells known with extra lore implications. She got glowy eyes? Yeah, she's the Yuri iconic. So we're currently on page 200. Where is it? 72. See? She's the Yuri iconic. The ghost spirit thing. Kashari, the librarian. Granted spells. If your spells are granted for an outside source, such as a deity or a patron, the outside source does not claim credit for granting the spell to you. Instead, you are somehow casting the spell through their magic or tradition. Okay. Spellbook. If you cast spells through a spellbook, shoujo spells are added to the book as a series of diary entries dedicated to your love. Alright. These spells are written in whatever language you wish and can be read by anyone else that shares your language, but cannot be learned from your spellbook as your brand of love is unique to you. Spontaneous. If you cast spells spontaneously, these spells do not count towards your spells known, but are added to your spell list regardless. So these are reward spells, essentially, from the GM, or if you have the proper archetype in question. Using these spells, we don't care about those two. Pathfinder 2e. All shoujo spells are focus spells and they share your class's casting tradition. If you do not have a casting tradition, your shoujo spells are occult. Easy done. Alright. Bakadare's ignorance. Alright. We're getting an education now, because I don't know these. A bakadare is a type of waifu that many would deem to be of low intelligence or have a dumb and mild personality. They typically do not put much logic or thought into their next move and operate on their whims and wants. Alignment suggestion, any neutral. Suggested classes, barbarian, druid, and fighter. The trope is the well-intentioned airhead. I'm down with that. The spells. Bakadare's ignorance, focus 2. A creature other than you rolls a saving throw against a mental effect. By imbuing a creature with foolishness and dulling their mind, you ward a creature against attempts to invade its mind. The target treats the results of their saving throw as one step better. Additionally, until the end of your next turn, creatures attempting to read the target's thoughts must make a saving throw versus your spell save DC, or are only able to pull useless, unrelated trivia about the creature's life, such as favorite food, color, or most recent meal. Oh, see, I could see that working so well in certain instances, though. Because there are some creatures that just automatically do it. Particularly, off the top of my head, Gatewalkers, chapter 3 or 4, you encounter creatures that can read memories and stuff like that. And they're memory traders. So you could use this to just be like, yeah, they were trying to read your mind, but that's all they get. It's only the one? Yeah, fair enough. Dundare's Dash. Dundare is a waifu that is quiet and very self-contained. Their best traits can be brought out by interacting with their love interest. Suggested classes are the cleric, rogue, and wizard. Trope: quiet, reserved sweetheart. Dundare's Dash. Oh, okay, so this is... Senpai noticed me. This is terrible. Your affection causes you to fluster and attempt to conceal yourself. You get a +1 status bonus to stealth checks to hide and instantly teleport yourself 20 feet in height. Yeah, alright. Hidden +2. You can recast Undeade's Dash an additional time without using a focus point as long as you still have the status bonus to stealth. It's blink around the corner, right? A status bonus to stealth lasts for 10 minutes, lasts for an hour, and increases by an additional +1. Status bonus to stealth lasts until your next daily preparation. Look, this is a focus spell. I'm not sure about anything that lasts more than like 10 minutes. 10 minutes would be the upper limit, because that's using one focus point to gain something that'll last you the entire day. But otherwise, very adorable. Godare's Devotion. Godare is a waifu incapable of containing their love for their spouse or significant other. They are defined by their determination and wanting praise for their efforts. Suggested classes are the Paladin, Rogue, and Sorcerer. Look, Senpai, I stabbed them so well! Trope: unstoppable devoted supporter. So, for everyone with a praise king, right? Godare's Devotion, focus 2. Tradition, Arcane, Divine, Occult. 2 actions to cast. Oh, I see. So after 4th level, you basically get a consumable move action. Yeah. Look, Master holds up a bloody head. You begin by declaring a target as your love and demand that they praise you. The target may spend a reaction to praise you. When they do, you gain the quicken condition and can use the extra action each round only for the following actions. Make a strike. This strike deals minimum damage on a failure. That's really good. Cast a 2-action cantrip or step twice. That's really good. Because it lasts for a minute as a focus spell. So for the entire combat. Yeah, look, I don't know about that. Because as long as you're whoever you've asked them to praise you has a reaction at hand. In particular, a 2-action cantrip. Step twice? Yeah, look. Like, forget the strike. Stepping twice? Or a 2-action cantrip? Massive. I think some of these need a retune. You can't even step with quicken? Yeah. Because it's a strike or a stride. Himadare's Decree. A Himadare is a waifu that believes that their significant other should spoil them and treat them like royalty. Himadare think very highly of themselves and their love. Suggested classes are Bard, Cleric, and Wizard. Trope: Royal Highness with their loyal knight. I do like that they list the tropes here as well, so it gives you a good idea of what vibe they're going for. You can't even swim with quickened. Look. I will say there was a spell I wrote for Hoist the Colors that specifically allowed you to use quicken actions to swim. But Pathfinder 2e spell, Himadare's Decree. 1 creature, duration of a minute. Empowering your voice with arcane affections, you declare a creature to be afflicted with a single adjective decree. Your words carve an illusion around them, making the decree appear true to any onlooker but has no physical effects. Onlookers must make a saving throw or believe the following effects. Baka. The creature appears to become buffoonish. Creatures surrounding the target become incapable of understanding the creature's speech or instructions. Itchy. The target appears to be permanent and a social pariah. For the duration of this spell, the creature can no longer be targeted by spells or effects that target willing, friendly, or allied creatures. Oh god. Stinky. An enemy appears to smell extremely foul. All creatures allied with them will refuse to end their turn within 5 feet of the target. Strong. The target appears to be stronger than any others, granting them a +1 status bonus to intimidation checks. See, the stinky one in particular feels brutal. I have been summoned by poor pronunciation. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I butchering? You may come up with more decrees with your GM. Effects should be minor, only affecting 1 or 2 mechanical changes. I like that as just a guidance thing. I'm sorry. Sam was complaining. Yes. Hey, Permafrost, how you doing? Welcome on in. Look, if you've hated the poor pronunciation up until now, it's not gonna get better. Hiyakasudarare's tease. They are a kind of waifu whose love language involves teasing their significant other. They love watching their love become flustered and annoyed. It is suggested for Bard, Fighter, and Rogue. The trope is a flirty, affectionate brat. I've been working for maybe 2 hours. I just had so many things happen and also been trying to contemplate what to do. Ah, okay. That's fair enough. You're more than welcome to just chill. You begin maliciously making fun of a creature's actions and hobbies, damaging their pride and making it difficult for them to act without flustering self-conscious thoughts. On a failed save, the target chooses one of the following. Target a different creature in range. Choose a different action to perform. The attack is rolled with misfortune. It's a reaction. A creature targets you or your spouse with an attack roll. See, this is fine. Yeah, I play Pathfinder. What about it? You're actually casting a spell right now? So lame! Like, the amount of times I've had players do this to me. Like, just bullying devils and things. I like that I now have some sort of mechanic to be like, you know what, fuck it, you can have a new focus spell. Kudaru is a waifu who keeps their emotions in check and contained. They believe that their actions speak much louder than their words can. Just to help the chief from Romanized Japanese. Oh, look. I'm sorry, Weird. I can barely pronounce English. And I will be honest, I'm struggling at the moment as is. So there's going to be a bit of butchery going on. I do apologize. But Druid, Monk, and Paladin. Calm. It's a reaction. You fail, but don't critically fail a saving throw against an effect with the emotion trait. You suppress your affection and temporarily deaden your emotions. You succeed on the saving throw instead. See, that's nice and basic. I don't mind that. You will only judge me a little bit. Appreciate it. I don't mind getting judged. It's gonna happen either way. My Adaru... See what I mean? They are a waifu who once was on the side of evil and still has dark compulsions and desires. So villain to lover? Suggested classes: rogue, warlock, and wizard. Trope: villain with a soft spot. Where is it? Malice: 3 actions, 1 ally sustained. Athaja? Potentially? You weaponize a creature's affections, turning them to a burning malice and a desire to slay your enemies. For the spell's duration, the target ally deals an additional damage die with strikes and additional type damage equal to the spell rank on cast spells. Spell's duration, target ally deals an additional damage die with strikes. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. A man of culture, I see. Oh god. Chat, help, they're ganging up on me. Wait. I'm asking chat to help me against chat. A Sarudare is a waifu who enjoys cruelly toying with their love or torturing others in the name of their love. Is this something I should look up with safe search on or off? There we go, okay. They are a waifu who enjoys cruelly toying with their love or torturing others in the name of their love. They are someone who expresses their love in twisted ways. The trope is a cruel, fiendish pervert. Ah. 3 actions sustained up to 1 minute. You invoke a cruelty within your aura that degrades the bravery of others, and aim that aura via sadistic grin to demoralize them. A target within range takes 2d4 mental damage upon casting or sustaining the spell. They do their will save, takes half damage, target's friend takes full damage, friend 2 and takes double damage. That's fair enough. Sundare's Smite. Bakadare? Yeah, there was. Where was it? There you go. Where were we? There it is. Ah, yes, the P archetype. Sundari is a waifu who, for some reason or another, struggle with their feelings for their love. They hide their emotions. The 2e version, Smite Reaction. A creature successfully deals damage to you or imposes a condition on you. You agitate your affections into a violent outburst, either within your weapon or your hand itself. You make a melee strike against the triggering creature. If the creature is not within the strike's reach, the strike is treated as if the target were within reach, and all damage normally dealt by the strike becomes mental damage. During the duration, you cannot be prevented from taking hostile actions. Wow, okay. So just lashing out. Yeah, alright. I see the trope they're going for there. Because emotionally repressed crush. Yeah, that's definitely on theme. Good. Yandere. They are a waifu who is obsessed with the object of their desire. They are often seen as unhealthily obsessed and over-possessive of their spouse. Suggested for Bard, Rogue, and Ranger. Ranger in particular is a little bit frightening concerning the implications. Trope, the obsessive possessive stalker. Pathfinder 2e, 2 actions, touch 1 willing living creature. Lasts until the next time you make your daily preparations. Look, it's a general rule of thumb, but when designing focus spells, it's not a good idea to have them last the entire day. Part of the point behind a focus spell is that it's supposed to be a battlefield thing. Like when you're in your encounter mode, you're supposed to only be able to do certain amounts of them. So if you have a focus spell that lasts all day, that means they only have to cast it once and it lasts for the entire day. Unless it has something that causes it to activate and end early. Just as a design thing. I get that these are supposed to be kind of given out by the GM for anyone if the character is following certain tropes. But yeah, I'm not sure about having it as focus spells. By viewing your affection to a glyph used to track prey, you mark a creature as your darling. You always know the general direction of your darling, and their general condition is defined below, as long as they are on the same plane of existence. You know if they are unharmed, if they are lightly wounded, if they're bloodied, or if they're critical. When a creature deals damage to your darling, you may use your reaction to move 15 feet towards or make a melee strike against that creature. The Stalker brand, absolutely. You can put in you cannot refocus while active, but that feels jank. It's also very much against the design aspects for focus spells in general. Because that would mean you would cast this once, and then you wouldn't be able to refocus for the rest of the day, even if you have more than one focus point. There's a part of me who thinks that these should be a little bit different dealt with, but I would have to put more. I'd have to think about it a bit more. But 15 feet towards or make a melee strike against that creature. I like that it's a reaction for the movement or the attack. Unless it ended on using the reaction, that can make it work. While the spell is active, you cannot move further away from your chosen darling until you end the spell, unless you do so to defend or serve them in some way. Yeah, look. Otherwise, that's fine. But I feel like some of these spells are... I know why they chose to do them as focus spells. It's probably the easiest way to do it. But some of them don't feel like focus spells, if that makes sense. Cooking and camping. I've gone past the break. I do apologize, people. Like, I get what they're going for with it, and I think for the right group, it'd be fine. I'm not sure if I'd have them as focus spells again, though. Or just have them as magical type abilities. We have things like that. Raise a stone, for instance, or raise a menhir, for the druid, for instance, is a magical effect that is also not a focus spell. So there are ways to do it. One second, just letting my cat out. I like the idea overall, though. Like I said, especially if you're going for very much leading into the anime tropes and things. When I go to do a waifu game, or the waifu adventure that I'm planning to do in the future, I will probably give everyone one of these. Either to begin with or as a part of adventuring. When he said when. Look, I think I made the decision over the holidays that I was going to do a waifu adventure at some point. I'm just gonna need the players for it. But at the same point, I feel like if I have players who would line up for this, they would have to understand that I'm going to butcher some of these pronunciations. I would probably work to make sure the pronunciations are as close as possible. But yeah, look, I know my limitations. Gotta watch more anime. Was personally was just popping up. Not sure if, like, permafrost, is that something that's happened to you in a game recently? Because if you're having inter-party conflict, your best thing is to probably talk to your GM about it, or potentially talk to the other players. Just as a general thing. Like if it was an idea my teammate had, yeah. Well, look, as long as you planned it and no one's actual feelings are being hurt and it's being kept in character, it's fine. Just I always suggest caution with some things, especially when you're not sure everyone on the table is on board with it, because it can make things exceptionally awkward. But Chapter 6, Cooking and Camping. Now, I was actually very surprised to find that this book had cooking and camping built into it, or at least someone's concept for it. For those who are familiar with 5e third-party products, this will not be the first camping supplement anyone has ever done. Likewise for cooking. When it comes to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, there's already a lot of cooking and camping type stuff. Camping type stuff was done for the Kingmaker books. And I will be the first to admit it's been ages since I looked at it. But having a quick glance through what they did for here, I actually really liked what they did. It's not overly complicated. They kept it simple even for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and there's a lot of options. But once again, I'd have to look at the Kingmaker stuff again. All right. Camping, cooking, meals, and legendary meals. All right. We might not get through all of this. And I still intend for this to be the last stream where we're kind of discussing it, and I want to leave a little bit of time to talk about it. So then before we were let go, we had a debate where to go in the dwarf woman in the library. Take us to, so I'll show memories and give you some information. Oh, okay, so this was fucking with an NPC? If you're fucking with an NPC, I'm down. As long as the GM is also down. But creating campsites. While exploration and travel are a major part of most campaign settings, the art of downtime isn't. Yeah, that's a typo. Always explored in many systems. especially when it comes to some of real life's most enjoyable activities such as camping, cooking, and enjoying a meal. While this chapter is not an exhaustive list of activities, it can help serve as inspiration as some basic rules for establishing campsites, campsite activities, and one of life's most enjoyable pastimes, cooking. Zones and weather. Whenever exploring an area, it is important for the GM to know how dangerous the zone that you're exploring is. It is not necessary for the PCs to know how dangerous the territory is, but chances are they will have some idea through common sense or their character's abilities. The examples are safe, average, dangerous, deadly. Okay, so I actually kind of like that. Zone examples, near town. So the danger areas are a indicator of... Yeah, okay. So the danger levels are an indication of danger, whether it is weather or how populated it is. Oh, okay. So as long as it resolved really well permafrost, and it sounds like it did. That's good to see. Zone examples. Near town, developed area, owned property, typical wilderness, roadside travel, allied territory. Enemy territory, untamed wilderness, hostile terrain. Yeah. Okay, so weather modifiers, zone DCs, and encounter rolls. DC 40 is the 20th level DC. Alright, let's check. Need to check. Yes, it's the 20th level DC. Inside a tiny hut, it is always safe. Well, that would be one of the things. But I think it would be a case of the weather is safe, but the zone might be deadly. Or there's something might be in the area that is deadly. So we need to look at what the encounter roll is about. Encounter DC. The GM secretly rolls a single flat d20. If the d20 matches or is greater than the DC, an encounter occurs. Okay. So if it's safe, it's a 50-50. And if the weather is also safe, it changes, it lowers the number. Okay. I get it now. And of course, if it's dangerous. Zone DC. The zone DC determines the skill DC for each camping activity. Alright. Since I got a magic book on details for magical creatures, I did more critically get details and creatures if I read out during combat what the creature might be. That's usually how it's... for instance, the Lore Master Dedication archetype does a lot of that as well. Also, Razor Tome, which is a Magus feat, allows you to have a hold up a book in front of you, and it gives you bonuses to recall knowledge based on the book itself. That's from Secrets of Magic, I think. Notes from Stuart Nat 20s and Nat 1s. If you're choosing to use the critical success failure rules above for a 5e and PF1e, natural 20s and Nat 1s increase or decrease these stages of success by 1 respectively. For example, if you're playing 5e and the DC for an activity is 28 and you roll a natural 20, but your bonus only results in the 24, you succeed rather than fail. I get the feeling that the writer behind this was really like the tiers of success, particularly when it came to 1s and 20s, and decided to pretty much apply that for everything, which I think is amazing. While it's impossible to just find anywhere to camp, it's not always ideal. The party can first establish a camp in order to benefit from any other camping activities. Doing this activity takes an hour. Okay, so the zone's DC. So if it's safe, it's the DC 15 to establish a campsite to do camping activities. And if you're successful, okay. So you'd have to have this on hand. Theoretically, I would just print it out, honestly. Nearly all activities take 1 hour and can add to the time needed to take a long rest, or rest needed to restore spells for the day. Pathfinder 2e has every activity running on a 2-hour each. Roll, use whichever timetable you feel is best for your game. See, I like that. So I took the feat I could get my hands on for the time, which was incredible initiative. Yeah, no, that's fair. An incredible initiative is a very solid feat. There are some people who feel like it is too solid, but it's a good general feat choice. So, see, this is... It is never a bad option. Correct, you wizard. This is never a bad option. You find a number of basic ingredients equal to the zone's DC plus 1d4 special ingredients. So that would be from the cooking thing. Since my DM likes to use every monster like it's a hammer. Well, isn't every monster a hammer in some way? Depending on your thoughts on the matter. But, yeah. Some are hammers, some are nails, some are neither. Some are the table that holds the adventure together. Hunt and gather. You spend an hour gathering supplies from the wilderness. The following skills can be used for this against the zone DC. River Limbo or Mesa. Well, that's a pretty obscure reference. Sure, but depending on what it is, treating your PCs like rusty nails is probably not a good idea at times. Look, I don't like speaking to other table situations because there's a lot of nuance going on that I don't know what's happening. If you feel like combats are just being thrown at you and are intending to punish is probably the wrong word, but if you're getting to a point where you feel like every combat is difficult, like the difficulty for every combat you're doing is severe or extreme, or if every single combat you feel like you just make it out, whether for a level 2 pass get 2 level 1 sorcerers, that would be moderate off the top of my head. I will also say that, or like the purpose of every combat is just to beat you. Yeah, no, absolutely weird. Look, I'm going to make an assumption. You're using the terminology DM a lot. So I'm assuming that this is either Dungeons and Dragons or you're playing in Pathfinder 2 games where you've recently come over from 5e. Just putting the assumption out there. If I'm wrong, let me know. If that is the case, a lot of DMs struggle to figure out combat balance. I'm very used to DM as a term. Okay. It's just one of those unfortunate things that a lot of people who are still learning Pathfinder 2 and are running homebrew campaigns and stuff like that will sometimes just be pretty heavy-handed with the combat while they're figuring it out. Or they'll treat it like other systems treat it. and where combat is just is like that. This is where I kind of always go back to session 0. And session zeros aren't always before a campaign starts. Sometimes it can be partway through a campaign where you just kind of get everyone to kind of just have a discussion about how things are going. Because sometimes your DM might not even know what's going on. They might feel like everyone's enjoying combat. So it's just a good idea to check in every now and again. And you have permission as a player to bring that to your DM. And if your DM objects, then that's a different issue altogether. Communication is very important. I have seen some very, very good campaigns I've enjoyed a lot fall apart because of bad communication. And it just kind of sucks when they do. But I made sure that gave them a bit of a suggestion to maybe make dummy NPCs with the same level and classes against plain monsters to see how hard it can be. All right, here, we're going to do something. Dupe. Control C. Control V. That website there is what I use to balance all my homebrew encounters. So if there's something I'm putting through on the fly really quickly and I'm not sure, I just throw it into that. The instructions are kind of built into it. Pass that on to your DMs. Pass it on to your GMs, especially if they're kind of still new with Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Combat can get very squirrely very quickly. Especially when you're dealing with unusual party sizes. Because the game does assume 4. It's all good. Like, this system can be very finicky when it comes to the numbers. It's a lot of fun once you're used to it. And I love it. I truly do. Name that NPC. Hey, Phoenix. But yeah, that particular encounter builder, you can drop the players in the party down to 2, I think. Maybe even to 1. No, down to 2 minimum. And it adjusts accordingly. I know for a fact the encounter builder is based off the internal guidelines used for Pathfinder Society, which is the organized play arm of Paizo. So your GMs should be perfectly fine with it. And like I said, I use it for all of my games. Otherwise, checking the time. What do we have? Well, I kind of, going back to the camping subsystem, because the way I see it, having something to test run them, like training a fighting character moveset in the Smash Bros. Game is probably a good idea. I always recommend, if a GM is new to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, to run one of the newbie adventures. For instance, the beginner box, like Troubles Under Atari, or Menace Under Atari, sorry. Brilliant adventure. And it helps teach players and the GM how to run the game. And it also gives them a good idea of balancing combat encounters. If you have a little bit of experience, I would also suggest Rusthenge, which I ran recently on the channel. It's a fantastic adventure, it only goes for 3 levels. And players get a really good idea of how combat is supposed to go and how dungeon delving is supposed to go. Otherwise, shouting out Pathfinder Society as well, there's a bunch of 1st to 4th level scenarios you can throw for players that go through the basics of teaching. A couple of one-shots to get a good idea of the mechanics will serve you really well. Fantastic, very weird in some places. Correct. Also, there is Nicholas Cage in Rusthenge. Correct. I'm just generally thankful that I was able to find the bestiary book for now, since the things I was looking for in the library was for runesmithing, enchantments, and spellbooks. Yeah. There is the research subsystem that you can use to help with that kind of thing. But once again, it depends on your GM. Somehow rolled crap the entire time, which is kind of depressing. Yeah, look. I think a few of my players are currently in chat, and they can tell you how depressing it can be to have long strings of just really bad rolling. I mean, hell, on, what was it, Stolen Fates on Saturday night, we had Juliet rolling 1s and 3s for the first half of the session, switches over to the second half of the session, suddenly rolling nothing but 20s. I think she rolled 3 in a row. It changes to the lucky dice. Yeah, look. I don't know what was going on there. It was buck wild. But yeah. At least I got a consolation prize that I can use for now. That was what kind of cheered me up. It does sound like your GM was kind of on the ball there. Giving you something regardless. See, there's a part of me that wants to go into the camping stuff a little bit more, but I'm not doing another stream on this. I wonder if there is an add-on for Foundry that normalizes dice rolls. There is a module that simulates the karmic dice that was used in Baldur's Gate 3. It also has other couple of modes that actually checks how your dice are going. So what the module does, because I looked it up, if the module notices you've rolled like nothing but under 10 for like 5 or 6 rolls in a row, it makes sure that the next roll rolls over a 10. I don't use it personally, but I understand the use for it. I truly do. Because sometimes the dice rolls can just really fuck your experience in a session. It really can. Now, we're going to jump to the cooking. Cooking meals. To cook a single meal from this book, you need 1 daily ration, some basic ingredients, and special ingredients. Basic ingredients you can do by doing the exploration activities. They specifically call out survival. And besides, since they let me get away with stealing the book, I ended up giving them ideas in return. The way I see it, if I get away with something that I think it should be fair that I play ball and give them a couple of inspirational ideas for how to conduct their games to really utilize what they gave me for their own fun and narration. Yes. Look, player-GM relationship, always give and take. When it comes to... I always believe that this is... Tabletop role-playing games altogether is a team activity. It is a group activity. The reason the moniker, the catchphrase for Tabletop Obscura is "We are the storytellers" is because I firmly believe that it is the duty of everyone who sits down at that table to sit down and tell a story together. It is not on one person to tell a story. It is on every single person around that table to contribute something. Everyone puts something into the center of the table, and what you get out from the middle is magic. Because Matt's too shy to take full ownership. No, but I firmly believe that. If everyone's having fun, if everyone's contributing something, then you get something truly magical out of these experiences. if you have one player who just is switched off for the entire time, barely contributes anything, then that kind of sucks. Don't need to hear how firm you are rating this book. Fuck. Alright. But I do like talking, conversing, session zeros, hell, even having check-ins from time to time. I must admit, recently I haven't been as good with it as I should be. And it's something that, you have to continue to work on. But it's something that's good. And if you are contributing to the table, if you're contributing to the story that's being told, then you're doing the right thing. Just as long as everyone's on board with the kind of story you're telling, because I've also seen that go some buck wild places. Once again, something I probably should have mentioned while reading this book. But cooking skill table, you cook food. If I can use the magic book as a more hard set inside, then they can have pages that will tell deeper details on what they want to describe, like behaviors written in some pages. Yeah, it's to help with your recall knowledge. And it's something that you can use for your character going forward. I get that. I'm not gonna have the time, I don't think. Basic meals. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to go through this because they have a bunch of recipes, and each one of them has specific things that happen depending on how well the meal is done. And yes, some of them do have some pretty unique things that you need, ingredients that you need to do. Where's the bag of affinity? I think that would have to be a homebrew item, G-Wizard. End up using the white ice emote sticker in Discord. Fair enough. Alright. Well, so many dinners. And yes, there are a couple of legendary recipes. Alright. Well, all that said, I'm going to stop bringing the stream to a bit of a close. But I know we've kind of had a lot of fun with this book, but kind of one, I won't say one final time, but I do appreciate the quality that's been put in. There's been a couple of things that I've seen where it's kind of like, could have used another editing pass, maybe a little bit of a layout touch up. But considering the amount of love that's been put into this book, I'm willing to give it a pass. I'm a more experienced GM, especially when it comes to Pathfinder 2, so there's a lot of things that I can kind of look at and touch up when needed. But yeah, I kind of... Look, even if you're running 5e or Pathfinder 1, I do kind of recommend this book. Where is the link? Nope. That one. I do recommend checking it out. This isn't sponsored. I don't even think the creator knows I exist or I've done these streams about it. I don't even think they picked it up on YouTube or anything like that. I haven't gone through the effort of tagging them and stuff like that. Probably should reach out and contact them about it or anything like that. But I want to see what this creator does in the future. I have been informed they're working on a second book in this series, The Guide to Mythic Waifus, which I'm also kind of looking forward to. The funny thing is that when it comes to cooking, my character is kind of like Bender and Futurama, can try to cook but has no will They don't have a subject's whole space in torso. Oh, okay. So yeah, we're gonna look for someone to raid into. There's not really much in the way of people. Game's done quick. You know what? I've been enjoying that stream recently. They're not going to notice me coming in, but fuck it. And I think there's a couple of people in chat who will be looking forward to it anyway. So, this has been the final stream for the complete Waifu Handbook. Next week, we're going to be moving on to a different book entirely. I'm hoping to do the Vikander Menagerie. But I actually want to talk to the creator and see whether he's happy with me to do it. Not to guilt trip or anything, just, you know, I know some people might be a little bit like, yeah, can you not display the full content of the book, please? So, otherwise, I want to do more third-party products in the future. Just kind of having an ear out, low to the ground. I want to do some of the Team Plus stuff, because I think a lot of the stuff that they're doing is also awesome. So that's something I'll be doing in the future. So keep an eye on all the socials and everything else like that. Exclamation mark, social. Yep, there we go. Otherwise, we're going to set up that raid. Yep, that's the right one. GDQ. Awesome. Well, this has been the complete Waifu Handbook. I will probably be using stuff in it for my games going forward. Even if it's just pick and choose some things, which is what you should always do with third-party products. Check it out. It's cool stuff. Otherwise, we'll be back here tomorrow night for 7 Dooms of Standpoint, the second session. And we'll be back on Thursday night for more Pokemon Infinite. And then, just same as usual, Saturday we'll be doing Stolen Fates, and then Sunday we'll be doing Gatewalkers. Kind of a packed week, but we're gearing up to do some pretty incredible things here around Tabletop Obscura. So, I hope you have a good day, a good night, a good week, no matter where you are in the world. And remember, as always, we're the storytellers. Good night, everyone.